You are listening to the Critical Mass Radio Show, Orange County's business talk show, focused on exploring topics of interest to CEOs who are leading middle market companies. With your host, Richard Franzi.
Hello and welcome to Orange County's longest running business talk show. And yes, I am your host, Rick Franzi. And do we have a good special edition nonprofit focus for you today. Why do you ask? Because as you can see, if you're watching the live stream, Caecilia Gotama is our guest. She is the CEO and founder of BRDG, Bridge to Connect. Caecilia, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Every month, Haley, our producer, finds worthy nonprofits in Orange County that we can feature on the program, and we're excited to have you here this month. Caecilia, as the founder and CEO of BRDG, take us back in time, and I want to have you share your origin story. In other words, the motivation, inspiration that you had to be the founder of this organization.
Well, I'm a mechanical engineer. I had my own mechanical engineering company designing commercial institutional buildings. And I'm also in the board of advisor for Dean of Engineering Computer Science at Fullerton. And some weak moment, I said that I put together a soft skill curriculum and workshop at Fullerton. So I did that, and it's, presentation skills and all that. And it's Saturday morning, and it was Saturday morning, and we had 80 students show up, engineering computer science students. So I said, forget those 40 years old that I tried to work with. Let's start with 20 years old. So, and when time is right for me to transition from my company to something else, and I decided to do something that make a difference. And the reason I want to make a difference is because during those soft skills, there was a student that adopted me. She would told me her story. She's a mechanical engineer, or wanted to be a mechanical engineer at that time. And she's the first in the family to go to college, and how difficult it was for her and her family. She responsible to contribute to her finances in the family. And she determined to be mechanical engineer, determined to make a difference. And she worked at Macy's, and she did not get an internship. Why would you want to give up a steady job for a 10-week internship? She did not participate in a project competition. Why would you want to do that when you can go to Macy's and get a job? So she graduated. She got a job offer, and she took the job offer. It was $20,000 less than average. Mm. And I thought, that's interesting. But, she went home, and that check was more than mom and dad combined, even though it was $20,000. And I follow her and her journey, and start noticing that many first-generation college students are getting job offer that is less than average. So when it's time to, okay, I want to do something, I come back to this. Well, let's do something that I can, do something that I can do something about. And this is, so I'm an engineer. So let's start with engineering computer science students. And let's start with helping those first in a family college students transition from college to workforce, and with the hope that they get the average or better salaries when they graduate.
I didn't realize that was a fact, and I take what you say at face value, and that is surprising that happens. But I guess to your point, the amount of money that being presented with is so out of character for what they're used to that it seems like a lot of money, but it is under market, is what I understand you're saying, Caecilia. So give us a little more appreciation for the mission, the vision, sort of what the organization, how do you operationalize this desire to make a difference in these first generation college students when they get their job?
So actually there is a Forbes article that says that if you don't have an internship, you will get the job offer that is $15,000 less. and that's a Forbes study. And because, first gen don't have internship, but they also don't know how to negotiate and don't have a project competitions. That's what got them to $20,000 less.
Got it. Okay.
So our mission is very simple. We want to create the bridge to success by enhancing first in a family college students and giving them opportunity in the technology field. That's very simple. And so what we do is we take student at junior, because by the time they're in junior, they're not about to drop out. They're not about to change major. They're committed to their major. And that summer will be the last summer for them to get an internship. So we take them in January, and it's almost like a boot camp. It's a one and a half year long program, which is from January until May when they graduate the next year. We give them one-to-one mentoring. And so they have to see their mentor once a week. So the mentor is committed the whole year to see them once a week. We provide them stipend. Basically, we buy their time to invest in themselves. Thinking about the first students, I know that she needed the money to participate, so she couldn't improve herself without being paid. So this is why we pay them. And we pay them only for the spring. And so we both taking chances. We take a chance on them, they take a chance on us. So we both work really, really hard for them to get internship that summer. So it's a commitment on both sides. And so when they get the internship, we work with them. We in the first spring semester, it is anything from resume writing, networking, LinkedIn, presentation skills, how to shake somebody's hand, how to dress up for interview, until they get job offer. And then they have to go to Seattle and how to get an airplane ticket, what to pack and all stuff. And then during the summer, it will be how to navigate your first internship and how to find new friends. And then they come back in the fall and how to prepare to get that first job. And which is, usually they get the first job offer in November for the graduation in May. We start working with budget, investment, and what to do in your first 90 days at work, how to get notice. So we've been getting great success.
How long has your organization been in place?
We are in our 7th cohort right now.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm very big on peer groups and people having role models. And as you're telling your story, I'm thinking that many of these first generation college students may not have anyone in their immediate family that can show them how it's done. Is that true?
That's true. That's why we created this mentor and coaches, which is aunts and uncles, within the BRDG organization for them to talk to.
Are they literally aunts and uncles, or do you refer to them as aunts and uncles?
No, we call them mentors and coaches, but they're acting like aunt and uncle because we have events, where they get to meet all of these mentors. They have one-to-one mentors, but they meet other mentors as well. We have coaches coming, and it's very intimate and safe space.
And you have enough time in tasks, Caecilia, to know if the work that you're doing is actually affecting that first job offer and the pay. So how does that, what's the data telling you?
The data is telling us that all our students have getting good jobs, that they have gotten average or better salaries, and they are getting internship. And this, as a matter of fact, the first student for this year cohort got its internship offer this week. So it's kind of exciting. So we start seeing that. So they are in different organizations right now, working for Boeing, Accenture, and Disney, so they're working in good companies.
Do you work, you said you got this idea while you were associated with Cal State Fullerton. Is that the university that you're doing this with, or how does that
No, we're now serving students from, so there is this, we have this cohort, that's intensive, and then we are also project competitions. So in this first program, we have CACET Long Beach, UCI, CACET LA, and CACET Long Beach, LA, and UCI Fullerton, yeah, UCI Fullerton, Long Beach, CACET LA. Yep.
Are there a lot of first college students, that first-time college families in those universities? There must be then.
It's more than half.
Wow,
Yes.
really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. 47% to 60 something percent, depending on majors and all. Yep.
That I would have never guessed that. I would have guessed much less than that.
Yeah.
Well,
That's the beauty of the Cal State system. It's affordable.
yes.
So this is the American dream.
Yes.
And they determined to go to college. They know that college is their ticket to be a better life.
Mhm.
And they went through a lot of, hoops, overcome a lot of challenges to be able to graduate.
Well, no one does it alone, Caecilia, and your organization is giving a hand up to people who probably have gotten to the point that they've gotten to largely on their own initiative.
Yes.
And so you're rewarding that initiative by giving them a hand up to the next level. So that is amazing. I can't commend you enough.
Rick, if you think about it, we took them at junior. So this is their 20-year-old by the time we get them. So all this year, there's a teacher who told them that they can do this. There's a teacher who took them from elementary school, and then a teacher who took them to middle school and high school. And somewhere in high school, there is a counselor who says, "Oh, you're really good in math.
Mm-hmm.
You should really apply for engineering, or you should apply for the school. Do you know if you apply to CACET system, you don't have to pay fees," correct? They didn't know any of this, but somebody did that along the way. So we're just another step to the next step. We're just continuing this. The education system does work, and we would not be in this, beautiful country if the education system doesn't work.
This is so rewarding to have people such as yourself, Caecilia, on the show. And I appreciate the fact that you're sharing your story with my audience. And I'm going to turn you in a little different direction and ask if there's a piece of business advice that you've been given along the way that you could pay it forward and share it with my audience. Is there something that comes to mind?
This is actually interesting. So I'm an engineer. This was in I'm out of school not long, so this is in the 80s. I'm dating myself. So I was in the manufacturing, so there's not too many female engineering in the manufacturing. I was designing clean room, class 1, class 10 clean room for semiconductor. And I'm the engineer at that time that responsible for the design, but also making sure that everything that I specify arrive on time to the shop so they can use it to build it. So there's particulars that I'm calling. There's this vendor, his name is Whitey. He has a nickname. Everybody call him Whitey. So he was representing fans, just blowers. And I would order like a few hundreds of them. And so it needs to arrive in a certain date. And I was calling him, and he didn't answer. I need to know if it's going to arrive. Where is the truck right now? So I need to know when it's arrived so people in the shop know when to receive it and what to do and schedule. And so he didn't answer. But one morning he showed up in the front door and wanted to talk to my boss. I said, "Whitey, where are my fans?" And he said, "Oh, you're just like my wife. Nag, nag, nag." So that's nothing happened. Remember, this is in the 80s. So, but it annoyed me all day. So that evening, I went to American Star Mechanical Engineers professional meeting. And there was this gentleman, got to be there. I tried to remember his name, and I think his name is Guillermo. I remember he's from Panama. He worked at McDonnell Douglas. And I was like in a bad mood. So I told him the story. And he said, "Why do you get upset? So just tell him, I'm glad I can make you feel at home. Where are my fans?" So it dawned on me that I did not have a choice. I didn't have to be upset about it. I could just be smart and make a quick comeback and put him in his place and done with. So, and many of advices that I got is in that, in the sense that, yes, you just change your frame of thought, do something about it, because there is something that you can control, and it doesn't have to be a big deal. You can actually make a comeback with a smile, and that's the end of it, and people understand where you are. You don't have to feel like you are subjected into anything. And that little thing changed my frame of mind, and I was able to be in the workforce and not feel that being bullied or anything, because I can have a choice that I can feel that I'm being bullied or just punch back with a nice smile, and that's the end of it.
Oh, that's great advice. That's a good story too that sets up the piece of advice. Very memorable, Caecilia. Thank you. Every time we have a nonprofit, I'd like to at least give you an opportunity to explain, as the leader, a current challenge that your organization might be facing and the steps that you're planning or currently taking to mitigate that challenge.
So remember, I came from a private sector. So for me, it's still a lot easier to just earn the money instead of nonprofit. So it's like, there is nothing product that I can produce and earn. I guess the most difficult part is where we are right now is we are bursting. We have over 90 volunteers. Everybody can print. Nobody get paid. Everybody happily volunteer, and we get successes with students. We have up to last year we have 42 students. This year we will have 70 students. Oh. So the next step is actually build an infrastructure, because if you look at developing on organizations, volunteers are really great, but volunteers has short memories, because eventually they will move on, and so we need to build an infrastructure. But most people don't want to give grant for infrastructure. It's great to give grant for students. It's great to give grant to for event or certain workshop, but to have built infrastructure is very difficult. So that's probably the next challenge that we will have. Either if we want to continue our growth, because we've been ambitious, we've been growing, and if we want to have this step, the next step is we need to find a way to build an infrastructure, and that needs some kind of revenue and funding.
I hear that. And as you're explaining that challenge, I can't help but think how lucky you are to be in Orange County, Southern California, from the perspective that there are a lot of successful entrepreneurs who are first generation US and might be sensitive to and appreciate the work that you're doing. So you're in a good ecosystem to find people that would be supportive of what you're trying to get done.
Yep, that's why we have over 90 volunteers, because people conceptually understand that and know somebody or been that person, and they all want to give back.
Yeah, and hopefully they'll become a donor base. That'll help you to build the infrastructure and allow you to scale it to even impact even more people in the Cal State system. Great. Okay, being a mechanical engineer by training, as well as an MBA from Pepperdine, which is impressive. You have many degrees, which is great. What's your view on artificial intelligence, Caecilia? And are you leveraging it in your organization? How do you see maybe the students using it, or just what's your general sense of artificial intelligence?
Well, it's interesting because I'm working with engineering computer science students. So been playing with ChatGPT before the public sort of been talking about ChatGPT. So with any technology, it has a good side and it can be weaponized. So we know our students are using it. That's the first one. It's exciting. We in our program, there's there's in the project competitions, we actually just simply ask, where do you use artificial intelligence, and explain why. And for us is, yes, it makes life a lot easier, but we also teach with our students is there were segment one of the workshop is business and technology ethics. And so just because engineers love challenges, they come up with the solutions, but not in our DNA or in our education or interest to understand its impact to society. Engineers solve problem, here it is the solution, and somebody else will use it for something, whether it is for good or for bad. So we incorporating right now in our workshop, it's the ethics of it. And we also starting in project competition, we're starting to have sociology students to help the engineers understand, the future engineers understand social impact of technology.
I love that, because I do think what maybe has been lacking in some of the biggest technological innovations of recent memory is the idea of ethics and impact, unintended consequences. There's a lot of that you have to, as a technology, balance that against the profit motive of what the innovation can be for you. Yes.
Exactly. And we are not that smart. As human, we are really smart, but we probably can think 3 steps ahead or maybe 4, but we couldn't think of 10 steps ahead, so, and we don't know what it's going to be, 10 years from now, 20 years from now.
Because AI is evolving. That's the thing that fascinates me from my perspective, is how fast it is evolving in and of itself, and the rate of change and innovation in that area is just unbelievable. Okay, so I know that your organization is a part of Orange County Community Foundation. There's an event coming up later this year. I'm wondering if you could tell us a little bit about the event and maybe a little about the foundation as well, for those of us that aren't familiar.
So Orange County Community Foundation is it's a place where funders and nonprofit get to meet. So funder will said, I'm interested in this, and nonprofits said, I'm interested in that. We sort of get to, date or something in that sense. Their mission, Orange County Community Foundation mission, is just building a healthier, healthier and more vibrant Orange County, which is like, we are lucky being in Orange County. We have such organizations, and there's a lot of funders who participate in this. So the one in September, it's called Igniting Potential, that we are part. It is concentrated on fundraising event that wants to make a difference for Orange County youth. And so because we have first generation college students, we're part of the youth. That's why we participate. So it's there's 20 something nonprofit organizations that bond together. And in that day, we do a fundraising, and Orange County Foundation give the platform. We can easily input our informations, and we create the momentum, because there's 20 something organization, there's a momentum in there, and everybody's supporting everybody, and we get more audience that way, and we get more funder get to recognize the need, and we all get to pitch our stories, and we also get to bring people who support us to actually give them opportunity that day to support us. And last year they get almost $670,000 almost in that day. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, people are good when they can find causes that resonate with them. They're willing to, especially here in Southern California, support it, and that's important. I'm glad we are in Orange County. It's a good balance in a lot of areas, I think.
Yep.
Okay, so as the CEO, you're responsible for the vision for the organization's future. So no pressure, Caecilia, but in a general sense, where do you see your organization?
So I told you about the student, the one-to-one mentoring. So that's what we call it, our varsity group. So in order to scale up, the varsity group is very extensive, one-to-one mentoring the whole year and a half, and it's very difficult to scale up because it's just enormous amount of resources. So we're thinking, how do we scale up, because there's a lot of students out there that need it. So we create the junior varsity group, which is a project competitions. So that's what allow us to expand faster. In the project competition, we put multidisciplinary student from various schools. So last year we have 8 different universities participating in this. We put them together in a team of 7 students. There are multiple teams, and they're competing to find a solution for challenges. We give them a set of challenges, and they are real world problem challenges, and they need to come up with a solution. So there are 3 parts of that. They get to conceptualize the solution. They get to build the solution. They must have a input and output. So it's, real solution, and they get to pitch it. Each team get 3 coaches. There's junior coach, mid-level coach, and senior coach. So, and there is a subject matter expert that they can tap to and interview and ask questions. And there are judges from industries that give them input in the mid-level and then give them at the pitch day. And then also at the pitch day, we have a project, we have job fair. So students get to pitch and company get to see their pitches. So, maybe they want to, find a match, and employer get to find a future employee that is already trained and proven themselves. So that's how we scale up, and we will gonna have students again from larger pool of universities, and in October 10 they all make a pitch and compete for a funding, and we fund that as well. So we give them budget to develop their solutions.
I love it when an entrepreneur turns her attention to a nonprofit sector, because you think like an entrepreneur, it's solving problems, and it's amazing. So I'm sure there are people that are listening to us today live, Caecilia, or maybe picking up the podcast off of one of our platforms or watching a YouTube video, and they're going to want to learn more about your organization. How do they find you online?
So we are on the thank you, Haley. So connect to Caecilia at bridgetoconnect.org, and that's my LinkedIn there. And there's also BRDG LinkedIn there. So yes, please contact me, and would love to share our stories and our successes with you.
I said at the top of the show, ladies and gentlemen, we had a good special edition planned for you. And Caecilia, you did not disappoint. You delivered big time. Thank you for being our guest today.
Thank you very much, Rick. So happy to be here. Much appreciated.
And thank you to the audience. You too are part of Orange County's longest running business talk show. Caecilia's episode is going to join our catalog of over 1,500 interviews that we've done over the years. If you too are an Orange County nonprofit leader or an entrepreneur, Caecilia's both, and you want to be on our show, it's really easy. If we're not connected on LinkedIn, I'm Rick, R-I-C, Franzi, F-R-A-N-Z-I. Send me a connection request with a short message with your interest, and between Haley, our producer, and myself, we can get you ready to be a guest on a future episode. And you too can share your story just like Caecilia did with our audience. And until the next time we all have a chance to be together, I hope each of your business decisions move your organization in a positive direction.